Hello, and thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about the importance of serviceability in the context of an OpenStack environment. I like to start all of my presentations with a quote, and I was particularly pleased when I found this quote earlier today because it encapsulates in 6 words how I felt when I was first introduced to OpenStack. Buy the ticket, take the ride. You're going to feel like you're in over your head, but deciding that turning back would be an uninteresting option. So get involved, jump in, you'll survive. It's a really, really interesting ride to take. I'm going to start, before I get into more details, I'm going to start with a story that's related to this picture. And like all good stories, it has a personal connection for me. I took this photograph about 13 years ago in Cambridge, England, when I was doing a consulting project for a major commercial company nearby. This bridge connects to one of the colleges at Cambridge University. It happens to connect to the building that Stephen Hawking currently works in the Lucasian Chair of Mathematics. The bridge was designed originally by Sir Isaac Newton, the original holder of the Lucasian Chair, and it was interesting in that it was designed with no mechanical fasteners. It was held together simply through counterbalance and kinetic energy, much like a stone bridge is held in place by a capstone. Well, late in the 19th century, a physics professor at the college set his students a task to determine how that feat was accomplished, and they dismantled the bridge, only to find, to their dismay, that they were unable to reconstruct it without the use of mechanical fasteners. And so today that bridge has those fasteners in place. The moral of the story, and the foundation of my philosophy around open source, is that it's impossible to maintain a complex system that you don't fully understand. And so what you need to do, whether it's looking at a centuries-old wooden bridge or a years-old infrastructure like OpenStack, in order to maintain it properly, in order to service it properly, you have to understand it fully. Now there's a coda to this little story, and that is that it's completely apocryphal. The bridge was built 100 years after Newton died. It had no particular magic associated with it. It was, however, rebuilt in the early 20th century, just to account for age, and so that may have lent some credibility to the story. But the point of all of that is that it doesn't change the underlying message. That bridge is no less beautiful for not having this mysterious provenance associated with it. It's functional and it works. You still need to understand the mechanics of systems like bridges or like complex software in order to support them fully. And so having a mindset around serviceability is essential to doing that. When I began my working for my current employer, actually it was then Digital Equipment Corporation in 1981, following a brief stint at another company. One of my jobs was as a maintainability engineer. Now what the heck is a maintainability engineer? Well, I sat on a number of design teams for, actually at the time, for some of DEC's earliest Ethernet products, and contributed design features that would make the product easier to fix when it broke. And that's a very essential part of the whole serviceability philosophy. Serviceability has to be designed in. It can't be bolted on afterwards. It can't be a follow-on. It has to be part of the mindset at the beginning. Now in OpenStack, there are multiple levels of this mindset. For the developer, you'll find that a lot of the configuration files have the ability to change verbosity levels of logging, even up to the level of debug, which provides an incredible amount of log output. I attended a session yesterday on Open vSwitch where one of these log files was displayed for the audience. And I have to say, if that was the first time you ever saw one of these log files, it would have been incomprehensible to you. The level of detail is just too dense for the average user to make something useful of. So if we go up a level to the level of operator or super user, there are a few things that can be done with those log files. They can be mined for intelligence using something like the Elasticsearch log file Kibana stack to parse that incomprehensible data into some sort of actionable intelligence. At the user level, you can do things like reporting problems that you discover that aren't actionable through any of those other tools back to the community so that we build over time a history of being able to solve those sorts of problems more readily and more directly. But in each case, whether you are a developer who's writing the code that generates those log files, that's a great opportunity for you to think not just how will this error message make it easier for me to debug the problem, but add in how would this error message make it easier to fix it or to contribute to an analysis of how to point to the underlying problem. At the super user level, come up with, think to yourself of more innovative ways for you to take that verbose or debug log output and fold new serviceability capabilities into the stack. And again, at the user level, pay attention to what's happening in your environment. Understand your environment, just like understanding that bridge. Understand how it's supposed to work, because you can't recognize when it breaks if you don't know what it's supposed to do in steady state normal operation. Recognize when that happens, and then feed that input back to the community as you discover new ways to add serviceability to your OpenStack environments. And thank you for your time. It's been a pleasure talking with you, and I will see you around the community.